Hey guys, first Regardsman here, and today we're going to be talking about some Space Marine 2 news and rumors for upcoming content, when we can expect the official patch 11.0 launch, and a recent collaboration that has people talking about the potential for an additional class weapon. We will also be going over some comments from Saber Interactive regarding an XP boost around the launch of Tech Marine, and if the new class will actually have a Chaos faction for PvP. So first up, we're going to be talking about the upcoming release of patch 11.0. People are incredibly excited for the new mission and heroic weapons, so naturally they want to know when this is actually coming out, and luckily for us, Saber Interactive finally gave an official date. On the official Discord server, somebody asked Saber's community manager, Sister Hylia, if there was any information she could give on when we could expect the new patch to drop, and we were informed it is coming November 25th. Now, they did say it should be launching on or around the 25th, but this is in line with their previous statement of late November, so there you have it, guys. Patch 11.0 is most likely dropping on the 25th of November directly from Saber. Now, this may disappoint some people since it has been a while since we've had a major content drop for this game. We had the public test server in late October for PC players only, and if you're on console, you have not had a major update since early September, so it's definitely been a while for what is probably the majority of this game's player base. It is very popular on both Xbox and PlayStation. The rate of content drops has always been a controversial topic within Space Marine 2's communities. Let me know how you feel about the release date, and if you think it's been delayed too long, and what you were most excited for in the update. Now, the next story we have here is that recently, Joy Toy released a collaboration directly with Space Marine 2 for the new Ultramarine figures. There is a brand new trailer showcasing their 3 new models, and they are all looking pretty spectacular, if I'm being honest. But the thing that has people particularly interested with this one is that the tactical figurine is being showcased with a power sword, and not only a power sword, but one with the Survivor skin, which is exclusive to Space Marine 2 as far as I am aware. Now, this has actually led to quite a few conversations around whether or not we will see a power sword added to tactical in a future update, or even potentially patch 11.0's full release. Now, this isn't an unprecedented topic either. Many people have requested Saber give the tactical the power sword for months at this point. I even put out a community poll asking players if they'd want to see the power sword on tactical previously, or even the power axe. The majority of players want at least one of these weapons added to the class, and at the end of the day, the tactical marine is basically just a Primaris intercessor, and they are able to use a large variety of weapons in the tabletop, though not quite as many as the specialized Firstborn Marine tactical squads, which they are kind of often confused with. But even in the Primaris codexes, there are opportunities to swap your loadouts for things like the power weapons, thunder hammers, and things of that nature. It is one of the #1 requested things on Saber's own forums to have the other power weapon, the power axe, on this class, so much so they even responded to it in their recent October community update. On the official community update, they did say there was a Q&A addressing a selection of ideas from Focus Together, saying on Focus Together, you have been submitting ideas for the game since launch. Today we want to address some of the latest and most discussed ideas and bring an answer to them with insights from the game director, Dmitry Grigorenko. Hopefully I said that right, but somebody basically put out they want Power Axe for tactical and Space Wolves cosmetics for tactical as well, and they responded, we are thinking of something cooler and more complex than that. Now, that answer is pretty vague, but it does sound like we will probably get at least one of these weapons. I would expect that, especially with the new Joy Toy collaboration that occurred. And personally, I would love to see a power sword on the tactical. I think the power sword is one of the best weapons to actually play with in the entire game currently. And if we just get one, I think it'd be pretty cool. Now, some players are a little worried what this would mean for the class identity of tactical. I think it would take away from like his overall playstyle. But personally, I think that a lot of tactical's class identity comes from his perk tree and his ranged weapon selection, more so than his melee weapon selection, because we have already had one additional melee weapon at the tactical since launch. He does have access to the combat knife. This is not an original thing for him, and I don't think that took away from the class identity of Vanguard or Sniper at all. And really, with a horde shooter, what you primarily want is more build variety for all the missions and all the loadouts, and I think this helps a ton with that. So personally, I would love to see a power sword or power axe on the tactical, and hopefully this Joy Toy collaboration is like a little hint towards that. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, Saber has also commented on some things regarding a double XP event around the launch of the new Tech Marine class. Here, one of Saber's community managers said there will be an XP event early next year, and when pushed further on whether or not this was intended to be around Tech Marine, he confirmed that this is Saber's intention. Now, I'm happy to hear this because the grind in Space Marine 2 is probably the single biggest roadblock for new players. The Prestige grind especially is an absolute slog. Players basically lose the build they just had fun leveling with and are forced to re-level their class not just once but 4 times to gain access to what are pretty mandatory perks for a lot of builds in the current state of the game. Many people have also brought up a potential issue with the class restrictions in Space Marine 2 and what this would mean for the launch of Tech Marine, where basically everyone will be trying to level a new class and most players will be forced to play solo if they actually want to level their Tech Marine during the initial launch. Now, Saber Interactive did actually respond to this complaint on whether or not they will lift the class restrictions. There was an interview made by Well Played Games, the game director, and they asked them what their current stance or plans are for the possible problems of the launch of Tech Marine, and their current stance is that they have no intention of lifting class restrictions, and the actual thing they said here is as follows.
Is there any concern that everyone's going to want to be the Tech Marine on day one, and there's going to be, I guess, a glut of people wanting to turn the screws and pick up the Omniscience axe?
I think there's no avoiding it, is there? Like, I'm sure that will be the case. I'm sure there'll be some squabbling, but yeah, I guess it'll even itself out.
Now, this was a great interview that Well Played Games actually emailed to me, and you should definitely check it out if you haven't already with the little info card in the upper right corner of the screen. But personally, I think this is a pretty awful response from Saber. Saying issues will just sort themselves out is kind of insane when you're the one designing the game, and any of the issues are literally months in advance at this point, so you could probably do something, and there will be a lot of returning players of Space Marine 2 during the launch of Tech Marine, many of which will not only be trying to level the new class, but also finish besieging classes they may have neglected. So an XP boost around patch 12.0 is not a bad idea to partially address two major issues, but I do wish we got these XP boosts on the regular, similar to a game like Battlefront 2, where they will have a triple XP boost every single week for this exact reason, because at a certain point in your game's life cycle, catch-up mechanics are just really helpful for newer players, especially for a game like Space Marine 2 that is primarily PvE focused and has a lot of older players that are just far too busy with work and their families to dedicate like 50 plus hours to a pure level grind. Now, the upcoming patch 11.0 will also have bot customization, which many people expected would grant you team perks from your bots even in solo, but unfortunately in the test server at least, the only function of this is a cosmetic loadout for your bots, and while making a Deathwatch kill team in private lobbies is pretty cool, many thought this would be Saber's attempt at making solo leveling easier, but unfortunately that is not the case. Now, on the note of the Tech Marine class in PvP, Saber was also asked what Chaos faction Tech Marine would be getting, because previously Saber said they will never add things like the Word Bearers or Emperor's Children Chaos Legions into Space Marine 2. They actually responded to this comment by saying they will reveal this next month as to what faction the Tech Marine will actually be. This was asked in October, so we should be getting the reveal within the next 2 weeks or so. Now, I'll be real, I was not expecting the Tech Marine to even come to the PvP at all initially. Saber really seems to neglect the PvP in Space Marine 2 with pretty much every single update. Patch 10.0 did give us the Hellbrute Onslaught, which is pretty fun, but it seems they just intend to have an entirely new Chaos Marine Legion for the Tech Marine rather than just reusing the Iron Warriors, because if you're unaware, the Iron Warriors are already a playable faction for the heavy class in the PvP. A lot of people thought Tech Marine would just be like another Iron Warrior, but in this case, it sounds like it's going to be different, so we'll see what they actually reveal in this next update here, like a community post or something. But for now, if you're a big PvP fan, that could be pretty cool. As far as what I'm personally looking forward to out of all of this the most, I really can't wait for the patch 11.0 release. The fact it's coming out on the 25th of November before Thanksgiving is actually a bit earlier than I expected, because usually when Saber says end of the month, they mean the very end of the month. Besides that, getting a power sword for the tactical class has been on my wish list for ages. I know a lot of players have been asking for a wider melee selection on the class for a while now, and getting at least a little bit of news on some attempts at mitigating potential problems with the Tech Marine launch is nice to hear. But that's pretty much all the news we have here today. Let me know what you guys think of the patch 11.0 release date reveal, the potential of a power sword for tactical, and if you think this is actually something we'll see, if you're excited for a double XP boost next year. We did also recently get a leak for the Iron Hand Successor Chapter Pack selection that is coming in patch 13, so if you're curious about that, you can find a link in the upper right info card to a video I made covering all of that info, and I will also be streaming patch 11.0 practically all day on launch on both my Twitch channel and YouTube, and you can also expect some guides and overviews of some of the amazing new buffs to the classes like Vanguard, and of course, the brand new heroic weapons we'll be getting. And if you like content like this, subscribe for more, and as always guys, thank you for watching, take it easy, bye.